So, today we're going to be checking out the Inquisitor Witch Hunter class, which is the melee spec for Witch Hunters. It's an absolute powerhouse, I tell you, especially in AoE damage. It covers a very nice theme of kind of a Duskwood elite guardsman that fight undead with fire and stuff like that, banish all the evil from the lands. So I really love both playstyle and the theme, so let's dive right in. But first guys, today's winner of the CoA giveaway is EU Aches 4380. Cultist looks insane. Thank you for showing us the classes. Duskar on a Loon server. So, congratulations Duskar. You're gonna receive your CoA book today, so be sure to check out your mail. And as for everybody else, be sure to like and hit subscribe button and leave a comment with your IGN from a Loon to have a chance to win another Conquest of Azeroth book. So guys, the basic premise of this build is that we spend rage for most of our abilities. We have like main ability Slash that generates the rage, and then we have a two main attacks, which one is Dawnblade and the second one is Duskblade, that put us in different stances. Duskblade gives us Shadow stance and Dawnblade gives us Light stance. Each stance corresponds differently and provide us with different effects while using certain skills, so it's quite important to jump in between those. As for example, the main premise is that Dawnblade does, for example, apply some kind of a debuff that causes fire damage when we consume it with the Duskblade. And this effect is being applied by simply auto-attacking, so you could say that it kinda applies itself automatically. And kinda is, but the thing is that Dawnblade and Duskblade do incur their separate cooldowns, and it would be good to not use them one by one, but to give them some chance to apply their effects, and then switch to the other one, do a couple of other attacks, and use the other one. This way you can utilize both of the stances, although certain talents also correspond a little bit differently and buff different fields of combat. For example, for AoE, it's better to be in the Duskblade stance, as the Smite Evil, our spammable rage ability, basically deals AoE damage if we're in that corresponding stance. On the other hand, Searing Blade is an attack that has 20-second cooldown, with Purity applies a very powerful dot that deals more damage than its direct counterpart. For the moment, on level 36, I do seem to have a little bit rage problems sometimes, so it's not like you can constantly spam those attacks, which I think is pretty good, because if you did have like endless rage, then probably the Slash ability would be completely useless, and all the attacks are very rage intensive, so you need it as much as possible. On top of that, as you can see, we can still utilize our ranged abilities, for example, to pull stuff, and mainly just to generate rage as well, from the distance, for example. I doubt that it's gonna have like any use in PvP mainly, in PvE mainly, sorry, but in PvP it's great for like poking enemies, generate some rage before going in, so it does have some pretty cool, although niche, usage. On top of that, I can mention that basically everything we do with our attacks does AoE damage. Our blade attacks, the Duskblade and Dawnblade, can hit up to 5 enemies. Smite Evil in the Shadow stance, which is named Wickedness in this case, deals additional Holy Flame damage to up to 8 nearby enemies, which means that basically just by doing your single target rotation, you're gonna still cleave everything around you, like literally. On top of that, we have very nice mobility in form of Vault, which we can simply vault towards the way that we're actually going, and we have a simple charge, which is a Pursuit spell that works exactly as a charge from World of Warcraft. We also have Barrow Bolt that can grip the target to us, so mobility-wise it's pretty damn good, I would say. As a purely DPS tank class, we don't really have any inherent healing added like with specific spells, Although we do have some healing implemented into our spells, for example, Duskblade siphons life from our enemies, so it basically heals us for the damage dealt. In AoE situations, this is a massive heal, to be honest, because we can hit up to 5 targets. And if we're in the purity state, which is the white blade, our slash ability heals us for a small amount with every attack. As you can see, I can simply spam it and it's gonna heal me for a small portion. But if I use Dawnblade, look at this, almost... no, this one was pretty small. Seen bigger ones from here. Yeah, 350 times 3 is like almost half of my HP. Haven't tried it that much in PvP just yet, but it looks like an absolute powerhouse to me. This class also has some very fun niche-like flavor skills. For example, Charming Conversation. We can increase the target's reputation gains by 10%, because we're charming, of course. And the other one is Infiltrate. Take on the form of the target enemy, humanoid, beast, undead, or demon. And this basically allows us to be neutral to the aggressive creatures. I haven't tested it yet in Mana Stones, but we're gonna get into that really soon. If you want to see the damage breakdown, you can check that Dawnblade and Duskblade, our main abilities, deal the most damage from. All of the attacks, melee is pretty high up there as well, because we're using dual wield. Slash is simple spammable, so it's just a simple amount of skill usage that we have to do. That's why it's up here. Smite Evil is that our rage spammable. It's like half the damage of our main abilities, but it has extra utility for that, so... Searing Blade, we can hit it once every 20 seconds. For pretty nice amounts of damage. A little bit smaller than the blade skills, but in Impurity it applies a very nice dot. So I like to use it like that. Defender of Darkshire is just some auto attack thing that procs. Smite Evil, Wickedness, this is the AoE attack that we do. And Flames of Sin are those attacks that consume the Purity debuff left on the target. That's how it presents. We do have some free space in here for the talents. We have a couple of pretty cool spells in here, but we're gonna talk about them a little bit later when I actually get them. Especially that I should get to level 60 anyway today. Other very unique kind of skills for Demon Hunter, oh my god, the Inquisitors, are the tonics and Witch Hunter class overall, which basically are the buffs or heals or whatever you want, or defensives. They kind of act like those short period buffs on long cooldowns, but you cannot use all of them at once. Kind of like shouts from the Primalist, so pretty damn good. I want to check the Midnight. As you can see, increase your dot chance by 40% for 6 seconds, healing you for 31 every 2 seconds on 3-minute cooldown, so like a proper defensive. Let's check this out and get the Surging Tonic, which is like an offensive spell because it reduces the cost of all abilities and increases haste by 15%. So let's take those. We also have Bola Throw. I took it just simply for PvP. So it has 30-hour range and it can slow enemies by 50% for 8 seconds. Very nice for mobility. In here I did take the mobility route, so I buff my Pursuit, which roots for 5 seconds now. Sorry, 3 seconds, and reduces the movement speed by additional 2 seconds, so for 8 seconds in total, which is pretty good. For now, for next levels, I'm gonna take Improved Searing Blade, which is that 20-second cooldown. And Searing Hilt basically makes our Searing Blade grant Searing Hilt for 15 seconds, which increases our attack speed and causes melee attacks to generate more rage. Although, there's a very cool spell to be checked. Increases the dealt when by Flames of Sin by 25%. Another cleave, so I'm gonna take it. But here we have very interesting spell, Stake. Drive your concealed stake into the chest of an enemy, dealing weapon damage plus 321, ignores armor. And in Wickedness, which is Shadow Stance, consumes 3 stacks of Sensed Evil to deal additional fire damage, and in Purity it has 25% increased critical strike chance, so both very good effects. You don't really have to think about it, it just automatically buffs it up. But yeah, 3 stacks is pretty damn good. Yeah, so look at this, the Flame of Sin, which is the skill that consumes this Purity debuff to deal additional damage, deals almost 300 at this point. So, consuming 3 stacks would mean additional 900 damage. Pretty crazy if you ask me. Let's see how much Midnight actually does heal. Around 600, yeah, nothing that crazy. but it's a nice addition to this. And Stake is only usable on enemies below 35 maximum health, so we basically have an execute now. Okay, let's get rid of this guy first. Let's drink up a tonic. Okay, and then Stake. Didn't exactly see how much it did, but no worries, we're gonna fix that real soon. Okay, so it seems that Stake deals only 500 damage, which is pretty damn low, considering that Duskblade and Dawnblade deals pretty much the same. And in my opinion, it just bloats the rotation, just not worth it. So I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna go improved Searing Blade and Searing Hilt. What I like to do is get as many monsters as possible and accumulate a lot of rage in the meantime, and then just start dispatching them with massive AoE. Okay, let's go Mr. Smite. So go into Dawnblade, then Duskblade, apply the dots. My two most damaging spells basically reset the phase of Mr. Smite initially. And look at this, he's gonna die now. This is a freaking AoE powerhouse, ladies and gentlemen, and you don't really need to do anything additionally. You just carry on with your single target rotation, and that's simply it. Just make sure to have some rage to spam those. Oh my god, once again Mr. Smite. I think he's pissed after being defeated. And taking into consideration that I don't really have my perfect gear, I took just all my strength heirloom set because, yeah, I do have it. I don't have the Agi one. Oh, the Dark Triad looks very, very cool. A very nice thing is that we got a DPS next to the tank, so we can take many things that reduce our damage taken, which is great, of course. I just love AoE on this class. Look at this, I just jump in, get some rage, bang, bang, 2 hits, and they're dead. Those were only imps, of course, but you get the point. Darkslayer Lantern. Look at this, blast an enemy with Lantern Light for 350 holy damage, and depending on the stance, in Wickedness we deal simply more damage by 100%, and by Impurity it stuns the target for 4 seconds, so yeah, depending on which stance you are, this can be really important. This is so freaking good. Look at this, I just come in, gather them with simple slashes to have rage, and then bump those into their faces and finish them off with the Smite Evil. Spender, and that's it. The AoE's burst is pretty damn crazy, to be honest. You know what, I'm gonna try out something, a cast sequence macro, because I think I have found the perfect rotation for this build. Okay, so the macro would look like Dawnblade / Smite Evil, Duskblade / Smite Evil. This way we would maximize all damage and rage usage, but also thanks to occasional slashes, we should be able to keep our rage a pretty good spot. Yep, works pretty nicely so far. I think that eventually I can have some rage problems, but then I have another button exclusively for slash, and then I can pump as much as I want. And then I also have Duskblade and Smite Evil on separate keys, just to pump that AoE. You know what, I even think that for AoE I can do like a separate keybind, and would be good as well. Yeah, for single target this works like a charm. And I just put occasional Searing Blade where I know that I'm in Purity stance, which can also be, which also we can create a weak aura for, just to be sure what type of spell we will be using. Occasionally we're running out of rage, but then we can use our separate slash button to give back some rage up. Yes, for AoE we would go Dawnblade, Duskblade, Smite Evil, Smite Evil. It doesn't have any rage generation spell in it, but for AoE I'm usually, you know, stacking the rage first and then just pump. I think we will need 3 Smite Evils to make it work actually. Or maybe just simply put 1 slash in there to get some rage generation. They are dying too fast for the moment, so there's actually no way to check it exactly. Okay, so single target rotation seems to be working like a charm. I even think that I can improve it a little bit, because there's too much waiting between the Dawnblade and Duskblade switch. I could probably get rid of one of the Smite Evil, especially that it does not deal any extra damage than Dawnblade, the purified state, so man, this guy has so many absorbs. crazy, bro. Finally he died. Obligate. Oh, we also have a 20-yard range disarm. I feel like every class now has some kind of disarm in here. Now, regenerative elixirs. Drinking tonics instantly restores 5% maximum health and 20 rage. This is so good. With all those tonics around, I kind of feel like a freaking witcher. Of course, we do not use the symbols like Witcher himself, but I do see similarities. Okay, let's try without extra smite evil. This should be working now. We actually have to wait for the cooldown to go down, so smite evil is actually needed anyway. But I'm gonna add it at the end of the rotation, mainly because it's a little bit more powerful with the wickedness added. The funny thing is that, for example, even for AoE, I can use my main rotation sequence because we're basically using the same spell. In AoE sequence, I just have to cast slashes manually, and those can upkeep all the time thanks to clever slashes insertion, let's say. Yeah, let's try like that. Yeah, the only time I would want to use like separate macro or AoE would be if I would be like completely full rage and I want to dump it as fast as possible. Then yeah, it's probably the best choice to do. Otherwise, just spamming my single target is more efficient because those extra slashes in between do the job perfectly. Man, this Mana Storm is really cool. I love it actually. And fits the theme of Witch Hunter. Perfect. In PvP, I would actually move that Smite Evil right before I use my Duskblade, because with Smite Evil, with Purity actually provides 10% reduced damage taken for like 12 seconds, so that would mean it's constant and would be really valuable. Okay, let's free the lady and open me the barrier from the witch hut. Let's go in. Come back here. Nice. The vault really is useful. Nice, it's so good with cast sequence actually. Perfect rotation. Here we have got very interesting talents at the very bottom of the tree. Look at this vampiric tonic. Increases healing received by 20% and allows physical attacks to steal health from the target as shadow damage. This is pretty cool, to be honest. Depending how much does it heal and how much does it steal. Like if it adds up additional layer of damage, then it's great. And smoke grenade. Throw down a smoke grenade, blinding all enemies in the area, causing them to wander disoriented for 8 seconds. Any damage caused will remove the effect. All allies in the area gain 25 increased movement speed and stealth for 10 seconds. Oh my god, this is freaking AoE Vanish. How cool is that? I want it. I want those two. The power-ups. Reduce the cooldown smoke grenade by 6%. 60 seconds increase its range. Attack power by 100 when fighting demons or undead. And some direct damage has some chance to deal some additional, not that big. Increase effectiveness of all tonics by 25%. And using a tonic reduces the cooldown of all other tonics by 10 seconds. Yeah, I think it's the best to not take the power-ups. Just take those two abilities, Smoke Grenade and Vampiric Tonic. Those two seem to be the way to go. I'm prepared to pick up this one. Now I have to check something from this row. I think that Slash now has 30% chance to increase agility by 10% for 8 seconds. Yeah, this sounds cool. And the Vengeful Intent. This is mostly for tank. Melee Haste. Yeah, I'm going to take the passive for now. Fiery Judgment. Look at this. Ignite your weapon for 10 seconds. Increasing your melee haste by 10% for duration / deals additional fire damage. Very, very nice. By Fire Be Purged. This is going to be good as well. Increase attack speed granted by Purity by 5% and damage done. Increase granted by Wickedness by 5%. Very good. Oh, and Burning Rage. Auto attacks now reduce the remaining cooldown of Fiery Judgment by 1 second. So it seems that we're going to go the main ability damage from the middle of the tree and the auto attack buff from the right side of the tree. That's probably the best way to go because auto attacks will also generate more rage thanks to that. And it seems that the stake is not really that good, at least for now. This is a finisher. It should definitely hit harder. I mean, it does consume 3 stacks of wickedness, but I don't feel that it's that much for the moment. Okay, let's take by Fire Be Purged for now because this is passive. And I don't want to bloat the rotation with another button. that eventually we don't really need, to be honest. Wait a second, did I take something? The lantern, I do have it. One very annoying thing in Witch Hunter is the freaking Vault spell, because yeah, most of the time it just bugs out, you know, goes like has like very strange pathing. But to be fair, a couple spells have problem with that actually. All the charges that go like through a certain amount of terrain rather than going straight up to the target also bugs out. Similarly, it's very chill to play this with the cast sequence macro. Look at this, I don't even have to try. I get some occasional heals here and there, which are also very nice. Pop some coolies, and just bomb one button. Okay, so I can just now pull Rage, just like that, go straight up into group and then use the AoE macro to destroy them. Very, very good 2-button spec. I have single target rotation that also works pretty nicely in like cleave or chill AoE. If we have full rage, I have a button that can spend this rage as fast as possible with the highest damaging skills. And I have one more additional button for a generator, because yeah, sometimes it's just very useful to have that. Okay, level 49 boys. Let's take Fiery Judgment. I wonder how much fire damage 2/ it's actually gonna give. Dark Region looks like a cool ability because yeah, it's a rage generator. And sometimes this is very, very useful. Okay, let's see. Yeah, 20 rage, instant. And I think it was even overclockable cooldown, so from time to time it's probably gonna be very, very useful. And we got Fiery Judgment. The passive cleave is so freaking good, you don't even have to worry about any additional mobs that come your way, because you will just cleave them passively without even trying. Look at this big group I have taken now. Spam the AoE. Nice. Get some more rage, and once again, big spam. I can get almost to full health with the Duskblade if I have a group. Easy AoE. Now the boss can go down pretty easily as well. I almost always forget to apply that Searing Blade. And this not only deals very nice dot damage, but also increases fire damage taken, so even better. Yeah, Dark Regeneration, very good. It's off the global cooldown, so if you're out of rage, you can just simply click it and get that extra 20 rage. Nothing that big, but it does matter in the long run. Hey there, Herod. Jewel, you and me, bro. You and me. Oh my god, the Fiery Judgment deals freaking 600 damage. Oh man, this actually creates autoplay that I can pop this and then pull a very big amount of rage, like maximum rage in a couple of seconds, and then spend it for our most damaging abilities. Well, let's check it real quick. Yeah, look at this damage from Slash. Now suddenly it became like my most damaging ability. It does have some short cooldown. Look at this, how nicely we're gonna passively destroy those guys next to him. Yeah, be gone, fiend. Somebody's shooting me from afar, but I don't care at this point. I just need to finally create those weak auras in which stance I am actually. Now at least I know when to apply Searing Blade. Okay boys, so we're level 50 now. Let's take, I think, Versta Undeadly. Slash now have 30% chance to increase agility by 10%. Calm under pressure, reduces the cooldown of stoicism. This is great. There's actually a very amazing spell for PvP, but I don't know if we would be able to fit it in. Probably depends, because you would have to take Quick Draw, which has no use for us. And Student of Darkness, increasing physical and shadow damage dealt by 3%. This is actually good. And Daring Escape, jump backwards 30 yards. So it's shit ton of range, causing all ranged attacks to miss you for 2 seconds. So like a perfect disengage, or maybe even engage in the case you need it. You probably all know, guys, how disengage has been used offensively throughout the WoW history, so this could be cool. But for now, I'm not playing PvP. I'm just gonna go for some more damage from this node. Oh yeah, guys, because I'm not really that much into the AoE, not AoE, but Mana Stone updates. What are those two guys that constantly show up? The Nyx and Nocturna. I have to fight those guys like every now and again. They are very hard to kill. Okay, they're going down, guys. Let's see what do we get from those peeps. Really? Those are the Skrull guys. I didn't know. Okay, guys. I had absolutely no idea. Alright, boys. That was a quick showcase of the Inquisition Witch Hunter. In my opinion, it's very, very fun and enjoyable to play, making it possible to use those macros, make the playstyle very fluid and enjoyable. So if you're new to the game but you would like to try it, feel free to use this macro, because this is like a DPS without min-maxing. Probably if you want to do the most DPS possible, you would have to track all those buffs and stuff like that. So let's say that in a pretty chaotic environment, like for example PvP or mana storms, it's very hard sometimes to track all those things. So if it's possible, why not use a macro for a thing or two to make your life easier? So guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and leave your IGN on a loon in the comment section below to win the Conquest of Azeroth access, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.